Most people are waiting for a big break, a lucky moment, or some magical opportunity to change their lives. But here's the truth: your life can change overnight, not because of some outside miracle, but because of a single decision. A decision to adopt one powerful habit that will shift everything. That habit is the habit of intentional action. Not waiting, not wishing, not talking endlessly about what you're going to do someday, but acting right now with clarity and purpose. The moment you decide to stop treating your dreams as something distant and start working on them daily, your world begins to transform. You stop being a passenger and become the driver. You move from drifting through life to designing it. One day you're saying, I hope it happens. And the next day you're saying, I'm making it happen. That change in mindset alone can set off a chain reaction that affects your health, finances, relationships, and self-confidence. When you develop the habit of intentional action, excuses begin to lose their power over you. Procrastination gets weaker. Doubt starts fading. Every action, no matter how small, builds momentum, and momentum is life-changing. It's like pushing a heavy flywheel at first. It's hard and slow, but as you keep applying steady effort, it starts to spin faster and faster until it's almost unstoppable. This habit also changes how others see you. People respect action takers. They notice when you do what you say you will do. Opportunities often show up for those who are already moving, not those sitting on the sidelines. The world responds to energy, and action is the highest form of energy you can produce. You don't have to start big. Start with one thing today that moves you closer to your goal. Make that call, write that page, start that workout, learn that skill. Then do it again tomorrow. The speed of your progress will shock you when you stop hesitating and start doing. The difference between a year from now being just another year and it being the best year of your life comes down to this habit. It's not luck, it's not talent, it's not connections. It's action repeated with focus every single day. Change your habit and you change your results. Change your results and you change your life. And sometimes all it takes is one bold decision to act, and you've just stepped into a new life overnight. Most people spend years waiting for the right moment to make a change. They wait for better conditions, more money, extra time, or someone else's approval. The problem with waiting is that life doesn't pause for you. Every day you hesitate is a day you could have been moving closer to the life you want. The truth is, the biggest changes in life rarely come from chance. They come from a deliberate choice to act with intention. Intentional action is not just doing something for the sake of being busy. It's about aligning your actions with a clear purpose and desired outcome. It's knowing exactly why you're doing what you're doing and making sure every move counts. People often confuse activity with progress. You can spend hours doing things, but if those things are not tied to your real goals, you're just spinning your wheels. Intentional action means each step is calculated, meaningful, and connected to where you want to go. Think about a ship in the ocean. If it sets sail without a specific destination, the winds and currents will carry it anywhere, maybe somewhere nice, but probably not where it truly needs to be. A person without intentional action is like that ship. They might work hard, but without a clear direction, their energy is scattered and their results are inconsistent. When you act intentionally, you set your course. You decide the destination, plot the route, and adjust when needed. This shift from random action to purposeful action can happen instantly, sometimes in a single moment of clarity. One day, you simply decide you're done with drifting. You're done waiting for someone to rescue you. You're done letting days pass without progress. You choose to take control. That decision alone can change the way you approach everything because you stop moving through life reactively and start moving proactively. Intentional action also fuels motivation in ways that random effort never can. When you see direct results from your actions, even small ones, you feel encouraged to keep going. It creates a feedback loop. The more purposeful action you take, the more results you see, and the more energy you have to keep moving forward. This is why some people seem to make rapid progress. They aren't luckier or more talented. They're simply more intentional with what they do every day. Of course, intentional action requires discipline. It's not always exciting to stay focused on a plan, especially when distractions and temptations are everywhere. But discipline isn't about denying yourself enjoyment. It's about choosing what matters most over what matters now. Every time you act with intention, you strengthen that discipline, and over time it becomes a habit. Once it becomes part of who you are, you won't have to constantly push yourself. It will be your natural way of operating. And here's the beauty of it. You don't need to wait years to feel the impact. The very moment you start taking intentional action, you feel a difference. Your mind is clearer. Your days feel more meaningful. You start attracting opportunities because people notice when someone is serious and committed. You'll find that doors you didn't even know existed begin to open simply because you're already in motion. Life doesn't transform by accident. It transforms when you decide to take control and direct it where you want it to go. And that starts the moment you commit to acting with intention, no matter how small the step, no matter how imperfect the beginning. The change can be immediate. All it takes is that first purposeful move. Many people underestimate the power of consistency. They imagine that life-changing success comes from one big breakthrough, a single lucky moment, or a dramatic turn of events. While those moments can happen, they are rare. Real lasting transformation comes from the small actions you repeat every single day. One workout doesn't make you fit, one healthy meal doesn't make you strong, and one day of hard work doesn't make you wealthy. It's the repeated habit done over and over that produces results so significant they almost look like magic to outsiders. Consistency is what turns intentions into reality. It bridges the gap between starting something and actually achieving it. The trouble is, most people quit too soon. They put in effort for a short time, don't see immediate results, and assume it's not working. But just like planting seeds, there's a period where nothing seems to be happening on the surface. Underneath, growth is taking place, roots are forming, foundations are being built. Those who stick with it eventually see the reward, but only after they've proven they can persist when it's not yet visible. The mind loves instant gratification, and that's where the real challenge lies. When results aren't instant, people tend to shift focus, chase something new, or stop altogether. Consistency demands a mindset shift, one where you value the process as much as the outcome. You understand that progress isn't always obvious, but it's always happening if you keep moving forward. The person who improves just 1% each day may not notice a big difference at first, but over time, those tiny gains compound into massive change. The power of consistency is evident in every area of life. A writer who writes a single page each day ends the year with a book. A person who saves a small amount every month ends up with financial stability. Someone who practices a skill regularly eventually masters it while others give up halfway. The truth is, it's not about doing huge things once in a while. It's about doing small things so often that they become second nature. What makes consistency so powerful is that it builds momentum. Once you've been doing something long enough, it becomes part of your identity. You no longer have to force yourself because it's simply what you do. And once momentum kicks in, progress accelerates. You find that it's easier to keep going than to stop. This is why consistent people seem unstoppable. Their habits carry them forward even on days when motivation is low. Another important aspect is trust. When you're consistent, people learn they can depend on you. Whether in business relationships or personal goals, consistency builds credibility. You prove that you're not just enthusiastic at the start, but committed for the long haul. Opportunities often come to those who've shown they can stick with something because reliability is rare and highly valued. The truth is, you don't need to be the fastest, the most talented, or the smartest. You simply need to keep showing up day after day, week after week, even when it's inconvenient, even when no one is watching. That quiet persistence will outlast bursts of excitement and short-lived passion every time. Change doesn't happen because you worked hard once. It happens because you worked hard over and over, long enough for the effort to stack up and reshape your reality. That's the gift of consistency. It might not impress in a single moment, but over time, it's unstoppable. Self-discipline is the foundation of personal transformation. It's the ability to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. Many people rely on motivation to get started, but motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes, often disappearing at the exact moment you need it most. Discipline, on the other hand, is steady. It's the internal compass that directs your actions regardless of mood, convenience, or temporary emotion. Without discipline, dreams stay dreams. You can have the best intentions, the most detailed plans, and all the knowledge in the world, but if you can't control your impulses or commit to consistent action, you'll never see lasting change. Discipline is about making decisions in alignment with your goals, even when the easier choice is calling your name. It's choosing the workout over the couch, the healthy meal over the junk food, the early morning study session over hitting snooze. The truth about discipline is that it often feels uncomfortable at first. It requires saying no to things that offer immediate pleasure, but long-term regret, and yes, to things that might feel difficult in the moment, but create lasting benefits. This discomfort is where most people stop telling themselves they'll get back on track later. But those who master discipline push past that resistance. They understand that the short-term sacrifice is the price for long-term freedom. Discipline is also about creating boundaries with yourself. It's recognizing that you can't always trust your feelings to guide your decisions, because feelings are fleeting. One day you feel motivated, the next you don't. One day you're determined, the next you're distracted. Discipline keeps you steady when your emotions swing from one extreme to another. It's the voice that says, we're doing this, whether we feel like it or not. Interestingly, the more you practice discipline, the less willpower you actually need. At first, it might take a lot of effort to make the right choice, but over time, those disciplined actions become habits. When something becomes a habit, you no longer have to wrestle with the decision. It's just what you do. This is why highly disciplined people often appear so calm and focused. They've trained themselves to follow through without overthinking. Discipline also breeds self-respect. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you reinforce your own trust in your abilities. You start to believe in your own word, knowing that when you set a goal, you'll follow through. This confidence spills over into every area of life: relationships, work, health, and personal growth. People who live with discipline often achieve more not just because they work harder, but because they trust themselves to finish what they start. Another powerful aspect of discipline is its ripple effect. Once you develop discipline in one area of life, it naturally begins to influence others. For example, if you build discipline in your fitness routine, you might find it easier to manage your finances or stay consistent with learning new skills. The mindset and habits carry over, creating momentum in unexpected ways. At its core, discipline is about freedom. That might sound contradictory, but it's true. Without discipline, you're a slave to your impulses, your distractions, and your moods. With discipline, you gain control over your life. You choose your actions instead of being driven by urges or convenience. Over time, that control allows you to live more intentionally and achieve what you once thought was impossible. Discipline isn't about being harsh on yourself. It's about caring for your future enough to guide your present. It's the quiet, steady force that turns potential into reality and keeps you moving forward when everyone else is standing still. Consistency is the bridge between goals and achievement. While enthusiasm may give you the energy to start something, only consistent effort will carry you to the finish line. Many people start strong, they make plans, set big goals, and work hard for a short burst of time. But the moment the excitement fades, they slow down, take breaks, or quit altogether. That's why so many dreams never materialize. They lack the steady, repeated action that compounds into results over time. Consistency works like compound interest. Small actions repeated daily can produce extraordinary results. The challenge is that progress often feels invisible at first. You may not see dramatic changes in the early days, and that can be discouraging. But the truth is, those small, repeated actions are building a foundation beneath the surface. Just like a seed takes time to grow roots before it breaks through the soil, your consistent efforts are preparing the way for visible success. To be consistent, you have to focus on process over outcome. People often give up because they become obsessed with quick results. When they don't see changes fast enough, they assume what they're doing isn't working. But success rarely happens in sudden leaps. It's the result of showing up day after day, even when progress feels slow. If you shift your attention to simply doing the work each day without constantly checking for immediate results, you remove a huge source of frustration and self-doubt. Consistency also requires commitment to a schedule or system. If you rely on doing things when you feel like it, your actions will be irregular and your results inconsistent. Successful people create routines and stick to them. They don't wait for inspiration. They show up regardless of mood. This might mean setting aside the same time each day for practice, study, exercise, or creative work. When something becomes a non-negotiable part of your day, it stops being a choice and starts being a habit. One of the biggest benefits of consistency is that it creates momentum. At first, it takes effort to push yourself into action, like getting a heavy wheel to start turning. But once you've been consistent for a while, your habits take over and momentum carries you forward. That's when discipline starts to feel almost effortless. You've built enough rhythm that it's harder to stop than it is to keep going. Another often overlooked aspect of consistency is trust, both self-trust and trust from others. When you're consistent, people know they can rely on you. Whether in business, relationships, or personal commitments, your reliability builds credibility. More importantly, you start to trust yourself. Every time you follow through on your plans, you prove to yourself that you're capable of sticking with something. This builds confidence, making it easier to tackle even bigger goals in the future. Consistency also protects you from the trap of starting over. Every time you stop and restart, you lose momentum and waste time relearning what you already knew. By staying consistent, you keep building on your previous efforts, which leads to exponential growth instead of constant resets. In the end, consistency isn't glamorous. It's not about huge bursts of effort or dramatic changes overnight. It's about showing up every single day, doing the small things that matter, and trusting that over time, those small things will transform your life. Most people underestimate how far they can go if they simply refuse to stop. Consistency turns ordinary effort into extraordinary achievement, and the best part is, it's within everyone's reach. Adaptability is one of the most valuable traits you can develop if you want to thrive in an ever-changing world. Life rarely goes exactly as planned. Markets shift, technology evolves, circumstances change, and unexpected events can completely alter your path. Those who cling rigidly to one way of thinking or one set plan often find themselves stuck, frustrated, or left behind. On the other hand, people who adapt with flexibility not only survive changes, they often turn those changes into opportunities. Being adaptable doesn't mean abandoning your goals or values. It means being willing to adjust your methods, timing, and approach when reality demands it. Think of a river flowing toward the ocean. If a rock blocks its path, it doesn't stop, it flows around the obstacle. The destination stays the same, but the route changes. In the same way, adaptability allows you to stay focused on the big picture while making adjustments in the details. One key to adaptability is learning to see change not as a threat, but as a chance to grow. Most people resist change because it forces them out of their comfort zone. It requires them to learn new skills, rethink old habits, and embrace uncertainty. But every major breakthrough in history, in business, science, art, or personal life, came because someone adapted to a new situation instead of fearing it. When you train yourself to look for the potential benefits in any change, you stop reacting with panic and start responding with creativity. Adaptable people are also lifelong learners. They understand that skills and knowledge that worked yesterday might not work tomorrow. By constantly learning, they stay ready for whatever comes. This could mean developing new technical skills, studying different industries, exploring new ideas, or simply paying attention to trends. Learning keeps you flexible because it gives you more tools to use when circumstances shift. Another part of adaptability is emotional resilience. Change often comes with challenges, disappointments, or even failures. If you allow frustration or fear to control you, you'll make poor decisions or give up too soon. Emotional resilience helps you stay calm and think clearly when things don't go your way. It allows you to see temporary setbacks for what they are, temporary, and adjust your actions without losing your determination. Adaptability also requires humility. It means admitting that you don't have all the answers and being willing to listen to new ideas, even if they challenge your current way of thinking. Stubbornness can blind you to better solutions, while humility opens the door to learning from others. Some of the greatest successes come when someone sets aside their ego long enough to try a different approach. In practice, adaptability might look like pivoting your business strategy when the market shifts, changing your fitness routine after an injury, rethinking your career path when new opportunities appear, or adjusting your communication style